All right, what's up, guys? Welcome to another weekly outlook. We're gonna do this weekly outlook for the week of the 1st of August through the 7th. This is a NFP week. I think the NFP for the USD pairs will be Friday, I believe. So I'm not sure what all of the NFPs are for this week, but I know USD is commonly one of them. So watch out for that. Just be careful. Anyway, just remember, like, with NFP and news and everything like that, all of it is just an excuse to move price exactly where they wanted it to go. So don't even worry about news. You know what I'm saying? If you know what you're doing, news will not affect you. Okay. So one thing I wanted to talk about is this weekly outlook will be the last public weekly outlook because I am launching the Discord server that by the end of this week. I don't have the exact day that I'm launching it, but it will be towards the end of this week. I'll be launching it, and I'll be letting you guys know. I'll be notifying you guys. I'll make a video about it. I'll promote it on the Telegram and on the Instagram and everything like that. I'll promote it so you guys know, and then I'll make a separate video about it, talking about prices, what's included and everything like that. So that'll be its own video. So I'm not gonna talk too much about it. I always like to keep these videos short. So not short, but short enough to where I can get out on the same day for you guys. So that's what I wanted to say, because these weekly outlooks are exclusive towards the Discord. But since I haven't launched the Discord yet, I'm giving it out to the public for now. And there's also other things that's exclusive to the Discord, but I'll leave that for the Discord video. But the first pair we're gonna talk about, in this weekly outlook is GBPCHF. Now I caught some great entries on GBPCHF. I caught 2 entries on this. Let me see. We're currently running. One is running 20 RR and the other one is running almost 40 RR. Okay. The second entry was a shorter stop loss than the first entry, and I'll make a separate video about this trade alone. I've made videos about GBCHF before, talking about the bearishness, and I pretty much followed the trend. You know what I'm saying? Every time that GBCHF distributed, it came back and distributed again, and it was a trend. So what I did, I just followed the trend. I seen the supply area, I looked inside the supply area, I seen distribution starting to form, and there was even a fractal distribution forming inside of here, and that's how I caught that small stop loss. That's how I caught that like low entry in there, and that's how I was able to catch 2 entries, because there was a fractal distribution inside this entire distribution. And I used this as an example last time when I was trying to catch the same thing over here. So I have videos on GBCHF already in its fractal nature, and the video I made on the fractal nature of the market was featuring GBCHF. So you'll see when I was talking about these, and then I just followed the trend. I mean, it's bearish, so let's sell it, right? So of course targets are down here. So let's talk about entries, right? Re-entries. Well, let's see. What we know is, right, this was our order flow that was going to the upside. So this is what's technically was holding our order flow. So once the market came and reacted inside of here, we tried to accumulate here. Inside of this whole area, we tried to accumulate. So right here, this is technically a redistribution, and this will be our slingshot to the downside that broke this low, confirming this higher time frame distribution. Now what I want you to see is, look how much distributions are inside this, like this alone, right? So let me go on the higher time frame, right? Okay. If we're looking at a 45-minute, right, you see that this whole entire thing is a distribution itself. And then if I go down to the 15-minute, you see a distribution forming here, right? And if I go even lower, there's another distribution inside of there. Okay, so that's how fractal this market is. And right now it's becoming one of my favorite markets to trade right now because of how fractal it is. But if I'm looking for more sales, I will be looking for a distribution inside of here. Okay, this is the next place I'm looking for a distribution, and if this failed, then right here would be the next area inside of this. Okay, so I mean, it's pretty simple. Just follow the trend down. Targets, first target is this low here, and then second target, overall target, is this reaccumulation, because all of this here is nothing. There's nothing here. There's nothing for them to bounce off of. There's no demand here. So the first actual demand that I can think of is here. So this will be a place I'll be looking at. If it wants to keep lower, we'll trade it lower. But I'm just following what the market is showing me. So that's GBPCHF. Just look for entries. Let me mark this out. Redistribution. Just look for entries inside this area here, inside this redistribution that happened, and just sell it. Just sell it. That's all I'm gonna say. Sell it. Next pair, Euro USD. Euro USD, I also got a good trade on. I know I was talking about Euro USD the other day. Okay, so what we the other weekly outlook, what we had said on Euro USD, right? We said we wanted to see it start breaking highs and lows, right? Not lows, but highs, right? The first high I marked out was this high, and the second high I marked out was this high. All right, I said once we break this high, we're definitely going to the upside. So now that we have broken this high, we are definitely looking for more supply, right? So the thing is, the reason why I wanted to break this high specifically here is because this area was our first like sign of supply. Like, we knew this area was a definite sign of supply, right? That's all I needed to know. And once this supply is broken, guess what the market's going to go for? It's going to search for more supply, because right now demand is greater than supply, so we need to find more supply. And what's the next area of supply? Up here. So we can be certain that the market will reach up here. Okay. Entries. Well, this will be kind of difficult because I don't like what the market's doing right now. Well, I mean, I can't really say that, but during this entry happened during the news, and I'm thinking of making this a private video to see how I caught this entry, because I want to keep it exclusive to the Discord. I'll make a video and put it out to the public about GBPCHF, but this entry I'm gonna keep it kind of private. All right, this trade I'm gonna keep it kind of private. So but basically what I would do here is I'd look for entries down here past this wick, right? So let me see. All throughout here, I'd look for entries, right? Because technically what happened here is during the news event that happened at FOMC, the market just sold down and then sold back up, which, like I said before, is just an excuse for the market to move faster. So that's what I'll be looking at. I'll be looking for the market. Let me delete this, actually. I'll be looking for the market to come down here. Essentially, I want to see the market reaccumulate, all right? Once we see this order flow starts getting broken to the upside, then we can look for entries, okay? It's just as simple as that. All right, so let's move on. Euro AUD. Now, man, Euro AUD. What do I want to say about this? It's really unfortunate, right? Because we talked about this area last week, and the market for sure came in this area, but we did not get the entries that I didn't get the entries. I don't know if anybody else found the entry inside of here. If you did, that's good for you. If you want to share it, go ahead. But the reason I did not trade this inside of here was because of time. This is technically the opening of I don't know if you guys see it, but it's around a certain time that the market just does a whole bunch of randomness. It's like going into agent session. It does a whole bunch of randomness. I don't know the exact name for it, but I never trade during this time. And most of this was agent session, so I didn't trade this until we got to New York. But New York didn't really do anything that I liked. So I just couldn't find an entry all throughout here. But what I am seeing now, right, is I know that this high, right, was technically our last supply, right, quote unquote, and we reaccumulated here. I'm sorry. Oh wow. We reaccumulated right here. You can see it. The drives 1, 2, 3. This is our shakeout, and then broke this high, and then we just kept going to the upside. Okay, so the first area I'm going to look for buys on this, because as I said before, go ahead and mark this out itself. As I said before, I'm going to buy this until we get to up here. All right, because this is our last. This is a not demand, but supply area the market has not reacted off of, right? Because demand is so great right now, the market is looking for supply. So this is a supply area that we haven't reacted off of. So it's only right to try to target that. Okay, so This is the 87-minute candle. This is gonna be my first area that I'm looking for entries at, and that's basically it. I'll be looking for entries inside of here. All right. If the market goes below this, as long as this low is not broken, any entries inside of here is valid. Okay. Now this is specifically the area I'll be looking at for, like, high confirmation entries. But if the market starts accumulating below that area, I wouldn't mind taking it either, as long as we don't break this low. If we break this low, then our next area is going to be somewhere inside of here. All right, so those are that. That's your AUD. Let's look at AU. All right, so now AU did kind of the same thing as EU did. I was looking inside this area for a confirmation entry because it didn't fit my rules to take a limit entry inside of here. So I was looking for a confirmation entry. It didn't have the same setup as EU did, so I wasn't gonna place a limit entry here, especially with the news. We came here inside of here during the news, right? And we mitigated it, which I was kind of sure that we was gonna react inside of this area. So we react inside this area. We made a new high, okay? But making that new high, right? We broke order flow, right? Let me go ahead and mark out the order flow. We made order flow, but making this order flow, we react inside this redistribution, right? The market is already bearish. So now what I'm looking for is seeing, will this low hold? You know what I'm saying? Will this low hold or will this high hold? So that's basically what we're in right now. I want to see if this low will hold. If this low ends up holding, then we'll continue going to the upside, probably testing some other areas, maybe up here, right? But if this low does not hold, this is what we're going to do. If this low does not hold, right, whatever reaction we get inside of here, this will be my slingshot. So I'll be looking for this area first, and if we break past this area, then I'll be looking right here, and then we'll take it down, right? So that's what I'll be looking for. So I want to see if this area is broken. We'll wait for this low to get broken, and we'll look for that slingshot. And if the slingshot does not give you a proper entry, you take a limit here. Okay? If you can find a limit entry, you take a limit there. All right, so that's how you do that. So let's look for let's look at GJ, right? So GJ's been on a sudden rally to the upside. So I'm just going with structure. I'm just gonna keep trading it. I'm going, demand is showing me go to the upside, so that's how I'm gonna trade it. So we had this reaccumulation that happened on the lower time frames. Let me go down. Okay, we had this reaccumulation that happened on lower time frames. We mitigated this area. That's why I put this red line here. And then we went back to the upside. So our next area of demand is right here that mitigated inside this area. And this is the opening of New York. So I know this is a area of high confirmation. All this area was mitigating this whole area. So I know demand. So essentially, all this here is nonsense, right? Because all this here did not do anything. We didn't react off no demand. We didn't accumulate. We didn't reaccumulate. We didn't do anything. So I know this area is going to be my most, high probable area to look at. So that's going to be my area to look at. Actually, let me set an alert here. That's going to be my main area to look at to buy this market to the upside. And essentially, I want to see this high gets broken right here. Because we came up here, but we created kind of equal highs. Now, if this low gets broken, then I'll look for sales here to go back to the downside, testing this demand, right? So it's really simple, guys. Just look for demand, look for supply. Are we reacting off demand or reacting off supply? If we react off of demand, trade that demand, look for supply. It's super simple. Structure and supply and demand, you're good. Like, that's all you need to trade. Like, you don't want to get tripped up in all of this, because I know people can get tripped up in all of this, trying to buy here, trying to buy here. Well, look at here and look at here. What happened? We didn't do anything, right? Technically, we did not do anything. The market is just moving towards the upside. It's all a leg, right? This is where we actually had some buying going on because we know we reacted inside of a previous demand. So it makes sense that they would buy the market here. They're not buying the market here. It's too late. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's what it is. What it is. And if this ends up failing, then we just know the market's going to the downside. So we'll sell it. You know, it wasn't the demand was not good enough. Also, we know we have all this imbalance down here that we can come target, right? So yeah, so that's that. What I want to touch on real quick is the DXY, right? So hold on, all of this. I want to touch on the DXY real quick. All right, so I know I've been talking about the DXY for a while now. Okay, I said I wanted to see this get broken here. All right, I wanted to see these lows start getting broken, and guess what we did? We started breaking these lows, which is very good. Okay, so this just confirms our EU and AU and any USD pairs. Okay, so as you didn't know, EU and USD, the dollar index are inversely correlated. So if the DXY is going down, EU is going up. If EU is going up, DXY is going down. You know, they're inverse. So because we can see that now the DXY is starting to break structure to the downside, we can anticipate the DXY to come down here. This is my first area that I want to see the DXY come down here, is to take out this two lows here. And essentially, I just want to see us fill this imbalance, right? I don't necessarily trade the DXY itself, but I reference that to trade EU, because if I know the DXY is going to down here, that's a lot of potential here. That's a lot of sell momentum, right, on the DXY. So you know what EU is going to do? Buy. You know, that's just more confluence to me that I can buy EU with confidence because I know the DXY is going down for sure. Okay? So we're gonna treat DXY like any other pair, right? So we're starting to break structure to the downside. Where's our last slingshot? Where's our last area that we can look at? Right here. So what do we want to see? We want to see DXY go up, you know, distribute from here, continue to the downside, right? Break this low, same thing, continue to the downside, right? That's how we want to see. More pushes to the downside on the DXY. But I just wanted to show that, you know what I'm saying? So, and you could see kind of distribution inside of here if, like, you know, if you want to mark it up, but I'm not gonna go that far into it. That's why it's selling. So what we're gonna see it move to the upside and then move to the downside. Okay, so that's all I wanted to show on there. Let's go to Euro JPY. Now Euro JPY is kind of in between the middle. Like I don't know what I want to do with this pair yet. I really want to see us get into a demand or a supply. Most likely I want to see us come into here. I want to see what we do inside of here. I want to see, you know, what the movements that we're gonna have inside of here, and I'll go from there, right? Because I don't want to like try to buy it inside of all here because we didn't touch no demand. Even though we're breaking highs, I'm kind of like in the middle about it. So I'm just watching it right here. Okay, CHF JPY. Now, because GBP CHF is going up, not going up, but going down, I know that CHF JPY is going up, right? And we have a 3-drive move. This is essentially a reaccumulation. Okay, not reaccumulation, but accumulation, right? I was hoping that we would come down here and touch this 4-hour slingshot, but we didn't. We ended up accumulating here, and so I know that this is my last slingshot area before we broke this order flow. So this is gonna be my next area that I'll be looking for entries in. And I mean, hold on, let me see. Actually, never mind. Never mind. This looks clean enough here. Okay, so never mind. I actually didn't zoom in enough to see that. Right, this itself here is a reaccumulation. That's cool. That's cool. I mean, this is how I'm gonna look at it, right? Let's see. All right, that's cool. I would not mind taking a buy limit here. Not a buy limit, but a confirmation entry inside of here, depending on the time, right? Depending on the time that we come down here, I wouldn't mind. And this is not a slingshot. This is actually a point of interest. I wouldn't mind taking a buy here. Okay, I'm gonna move this up here. Not that. I wouldn't mind taking a buy here. So this will be my first area that I'll look at, essentially. But I'm not gonna take a limit here because it's Sunday. It's gonna be Monday, and you don't know what's gonna happen. So I don't like taking limits on these days. So I'll wait and see what New York does, and then we'll go from there. Okay. But these two areas I'm looking at. If this area ends up failing, then we're coming down here to test this area. It's like this. It's like the opposite from GBP CHF, because you know the redistribution was closer, and then I set another area that was above it. So it's like two areas to look at. So you know, my first area, if we get something inside of here, you know, we start accumulating, I'll for sure buy it. But you know, I'm not taking a limit there. AUGJPY. So with AUGJPY, I was really just following order flow. There was no, I had this area marked out, but there wasn't any confirmation entry inside of here. Like lower time frame wasn't looking the best. We just didn't get the entry that I was looking for, because I have specific entries that I look for in lower time frame that I look for. That I have a PDF for that, but it's in the Discord. So you need to join the Discord to see that. But there wasn't any entries for me. I really like to take my trades carefully, and you know that can result in some weeks that I don't trade, but I'd rather take that because when I do catch the trade, it's this, the RR is great, so it doesn't really matter. But essentially what I want to see now is I want to see what we're gonna do down here, right? Because if I go to the higher time frame, this right here was a reaccumulation. So we know this is a demand area, right? This area is a demand area. We're reacting inside this demand area. Okay, so we accumulated inside of here, right? This area is a demand because this was our last reaction. This essentially is our test. Now I know that this whole schematic already played out, so I cannot take a limit here. Okay, if it was something like this, right? If the market came here and then came down, then I could take a limit here. But because the market already went up and reacted inside of a supply, this here, the limit here is invalid, right? So now basically what I'm trying to see is this demand strong enough to carry this, right? Is the demand here strong enough to continue us to the upside? If it's not, then we're going to redistribute and I'll take the sell here. But if it is, then I'll take the buy, right? But I'm not going to set a limit here and bet on a market that's moving down, okay? Especially if it's not in my favor. If it was in my favor, I'll take a limit, but especially this is not in my favor, I am not taking a limit because this is already bearish. And that's how you decide when to take limits and when to not. You know, if the market's in your favor, it's moving to the upside, and you have a reaccumulation, take the limit off of the shakeout. You know, take them in the limit and then go to the upside. But if the market is bearish, but you're trying to buy it on a limit, that's just not, that doesn't make no sense. All right, just try to make it make sense when you're trading, right? GU. GU is iffy for me. At the same time, I'm looking for the market to come down here. I was actually going to look for a limit entry down here, but because the market went so far, this is invalid now, right? So, I mean, it is what it is. Demand came down, wrecked off demand, so I know this area is demand. And I know this right here was the opening of New York, so I know there's going to be at least a reaction down here or something. So this is what I'm looking at first, and then we broke this high, which is key. The fact that we broke this high is very key. This sets us up that we could be, pushing to the upside because we just broke like a whole Let me go ahead and mark this out because I didn't even mark this out yet. This is just giving me more confidence that EU, GU, and all of them are more likely to go to the upside now because ZU is starting to break highs. Okay. This is a key high that we broke here because this essentially high was the high that drove us down to this 12-hour demand. I don't know if I talked about this 12-hour demand. You can go back in the previous weekly outlooks. I think I did, but I'm not sure. I don't know if I talked about it too late or whatever. But essentially, I'll be looking for a buys down here, and we'll see where it goes from there because I just know this is our last real demand. Now this is iffy. Like I said, these are iffy because this didn't technically react off this demand, so it's iffy for me. So I'm just gonna trust my gut here and go down here. If we end up, look, this is how I take this, right? If we end up, accumulating here, and then we come to the outside and break this high, I'll set a limit down here, and we can go up, right? But that's the only way I'll trade down here. I'm not gonna take a limit here because it could just be a fake. It could be a redistribution, so I'm just gonna let that be. I'll just let it be. I'll just let it be. USDJPY. Now USDJPY is bearish as well, right? So but it did the same thing like the other pairs did. It's creating it like after the news, it created this right here. So essentially what I would want to see is either we redistribute and move to the downside so I could look for a limit, or we come up here and distribute. Okay, so I could look for a limit. I could look for a confirmation entry. Okay, we reacted inside of a supply up here, but like I said before, on the other pair, AUDJPY, we just didn't get that type of entry I was looking for. Like we started out and tried to distribute, but ended up just failing. Even if like after this break of structure here, I could have taken a limit. Depending, based on my rules, I could have taken a limit because we broke structure, but we just didn't come back up. Like we just left. So it is what it is. Once it's gone, it's gone. I don't really try to chase the market. Essentially, I could have tried to look for a sell limit somewhere here. I wasn't looking at it. I was too focused on other pairs. So, but that's it for the weekly outlook today. Like I said before, be on the lookout this week. I will be launching a Discord. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be a community. I'll make a whole video on that. So you guys just stay tuned. All right. Peace out.